Starts off real quick.
Just obviously time to turn the page from the Auburn game and getting ready for Missouri. My wife, very quickly when I got home after the Auburn game, I was staring at the stat sheet, and she basically said, "Get over yourself and get ready for Missouri," and she was probably right. So that's what we're doing. And, it looks like Missouri is going to be as healthy as they've been in a long time. With 23 Tillman back playing, and from everything we've been studying, it seems like Smith will play as well, number 13, who, is their best perimeter shooter. So two teams that are hungry for a win.
Coach, I don't know if we've really talked about the run that Mason's been on, I guess the last 2.5, 3 weeks. Just how impressive has it been in your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, what Mason's done is, he's played as well as anyone in the country of late, and again, I think it's just how hard he's worked, and I think he's just improved in so many areas. We've talked about it in the past after games and stuff. Just his ability as a ball handler, his ability in one-on-one situations, his ability to draw free throws attempted. And then I, to be honest with you, I mean, it's not often that in a college game a player would have 40 points and you would say that he probably passed up 2 or 3 shots where he should have been shot ready. And then even the one pass that he threw to to one of our fans across court, even that one, I wish he would have shot it.
Eric, Jimmy Witt obviously is from Columbia, so it's a homecoming game.
So are
for
you,
him.
right?
I went to school there.
Okay.
I'm from Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
But you went there.
I did go there.
Okay.
I was there only 4 years, though. I got made out in 4 years. It's a homecoming game for Jimmy. He's obviously coming off a really uncharacteristic offensive game for him. How do you think he'll respond, trying to have a bounce-back game back in his hometown?
I mean, the great thing is he can't shoot any worse. That's the good thing. But he's responded. You look at maybe 2 games, Kentucky and Auburn, have been the 2 games that Jimmy struggled offensively, and he's bounced back from those. And his back's been bothering him for sure. He's been in getting a ton of treatment. He will not practice today. He will not even suit up today. But we're hopeful that he can bounce back and have a good game, and we're anticipating that he'll play. But we really, until we practice tomorrow, I don't know how much he'll be able to do tomorrow.
You try to get guys.
He did get an MRI this morning.
You've done a good job of trying to get. I think you've done a good job of trying to get guys breathers, but then the guy you put in is. Yeah, how important is it for for the guy that comes in and replaces, whether it's Mason, Jimmy, somebody, to step up and make plays to kind of get those guys some more minutes on?
Yeah, we just have one thing that look, we're like right when I thought we had kind of figured out who we were. I thought we figured out our late game packages. I think roles were clearly defined. We had the injury. And so now we're kind of reinventing ourselves. All of a sudden now we're playing 2 bigs. Because of the makeup of our team, we can't play 5 guards anymore. We don't have 5 guards to even throw out there, which was kind of a mismatch for other people that we could do for short stretches. We don't even have the ability to put 5 guards out there. And then when you look at Adrio, Reggie, Ethan, Scylla, they're all kind of 4s and 5s. And so offensively, we're going to add some new plays today. We added 3 new plays prior to the Auburn game. We'll probably add another 3 or 4 today. We'll probably add 1 or 2 tomorrow because we have to run different plays based on who we are right now. Because Isaiah is such, when you think about the offense we ran with him, he was so heavily involved in stuff. And so now we've got to change and we've got to tinker and, we need somebody to step up. I know that's what the original question was, but we can't have somebody come in a game and get beat back door like we did against Auburn and we don't get beat backdoor the rest of that's not how our defense is schematically set up. So we need everybody to follow the game plan, and when somebody's down, you need somebody to step up. And Mason stepped up offensively, but we need somebody to step up just to supply some minutes. Sorry.
You're good. You mentioned Jimmy's struggles against Kentucky and Auburn. What have those two teams done against him?
I don't know if it's anything in particular. Jimmy's back was obviously bothering him. I mean, for him to go get an MRI on, our only off day of the week, Kentucky for sure it was the length, I thought. Obviously Auburn's long and athletic as well, but just as, Steph Curry has a bad game. It's just going to happen from an offense. He still had, had 3 steals or whatever. He rebounded the ball. He just put the ball in the hole that night. But like I said, he's bounced back and had some huge offensive games, and hopefully the rest, not practicing today, not practicing yesterday. We always go light on a travel day, so in reality, he's kind of going to get 3 days off because I don't really need him to do anything tomorrow either. Just need him to wake up Saturday morning and feel fresh.
How have you seen Reggie Chaney become more consistent over the last couple of weeks?
I mean, he's if you look at Reggie's shooting percentage, it's always been really good. This year, I think it's the area that we really needed Reggie to improve on was defensive rebounding, and I think that's of late he's done a really good job of defensive rebounding and then staying out of foul trouble.
Just by the sheer numbers of situation, just what are you looking for from Ethan and Scylla when you do put them in? I mean, what are you hoping for?
I'm probably too honest with these press but just play your minutes. Like, just rebound, just defend. And then if you get a basket, that's extra for us. Don't come in and try to do anything other than, hey, just how do you go from playing 30 seconds to playing 3 minutes? Well, just stay within the framework of what the team needs, which is energy, defensive rebounding. That's what we need from those guys. Yeah. I mean, he's playing hard, but we need to look at the defensive rebounds last game. Like, we need defensive rebounding. I mean, whoever we play, defensive rebounding is, and that's why Reggie's an awesome offensive rebounder. Like, he's awesome offensively rebounding. And offensive rebounding is usually a little bit harder than defensive rebounding, but for whatever reason, he's got a real knack at the offensive end to go get a putback and stuff. And an area that he's got to continue to improve on is defensive rebound. Same thing with Adriel. Like, both those guys uniquely are really good offensive rebounders, but need more. We need more, and they need more defensive rebounding in their game. And both of them, I think, made a big step in the right direction. Against Auburn. But we have 3 bigs that are pretty good offensive rebounders. You could throw Ethan in there too, but defensive rebounding is what this team needs, and we all have to do what the team needs. That's why I'm adding new offensive plays, and I gotta figure stuff out too. We have a completely new roster when you take somebody out that's scoring that many points, and who is. Look at Isaiah Joe turns the game into a 4-on-4 game. That's what he does because people don't ever leave him because of the threat of 3. So all these plays and sets and system that we have are kind of thrown out the window right now.
He's not a high volume guy when it comes to the stat sheet, but what have you seen from Mitchell Smith, number 5 from Missouri?
Active, versatile. He's able to switch pick and rolls. Where their other 2 bigs, they'll play different coverages. They'll soft trap. They'll aggressively trap with 14 Nico and 23 Tillman. But, Smith allows him to kind of play small ball a little bit and match up with people, and he's a threat from perimeter 3 as well.
Talking about adding things at this point of the season, kind of having to redefine your team. How difficult is that? How challenging is that?
I mean, for me, coaching in the minor leagues, it's a way of life. So I mean, it's not really bothering me at all. I probably work for some coaches that at the collegiate level that would, it'd be a little bit, unique or whatever. But I think that when you coach in the minor leagues, you're constantly adjusting, and so it's not really. I mean, the good thing is, because I brought it in, is like I get these things in the mail. I mean, this guy sent me this thing today from Indiana. This is awesome. Like the guy sent me, I left the other 7 pages. He sent me, I've never seen these diagrams before, but he went through 1607 mark, you're 4 out, 1 in, you got nothing. 1538, 3 out, 2. So it's like awesome. I get a lot of help too.
So your background or your experience has geared you for this.
Yeah. I mean, I think that coaching the minor leagues where players are getting called up or sent down, you have to constantly be on the fly. That doesn't mean it's going to look good or work, but it's not bothering me, I guess, is the best thing to say, Bob.
Speaking of CBA, I remember in the summer coaches call, you'd already been on, so I didn't get to ask you about it, but Conzo Martin said he was a player against, you were a coach, and that you
He played for Grand Rapids, yep.
Yeah, he said you talked a lot of trash to him.
Man.
Do you remember that? If so, can you give us an example? Or
I mean, I guess you'd have to ask Zoe. I don't know if I don't do it.
say it in a bad way. I think he was
Yeah,
having,
I don't do it now, but certainly, in the pros, you might might let a guy know you're backed way off him, or, try to encourage an opposing player to shoot, something like that. Maybe in the minor leagues that happened.
what do you remember about him from those days?
Great competitor. He was on a great team, coached by Brendan Surr. Brendan Surr, who's in charge of coaching you and does these podcasts and puts on coaching clinics all the time. And Brendan Surr actually had been an assistant with Chuck Daly, and he was Zoe's coach. And they had 5 rookies on that team. Ray Jackson was on that team. Kwanzaa, they were really good, and he could shoot the ball, and he was really, really tough. I mean, he was a really good basketball player.
Jimmy's back. I guess he just called a sore back. The MRI show there's no.
Yeah, he had an
serious.
injection. I don't know what it was or whatever, but just constant rehab between now and game time.
After some losses in conference play, what is it about this team's makeup that, I guess, the individual guys that allows them to bounce back the way they have more often than not?
Yeah, I mean, I think like for us, it's everybody talks about take one game at a time or whatever, but like there's only one thing we can control right now, and it's how do we, come out and play against Missouri. I mean, that's kind of all we can control, and our guys have done an incredibly great job of not having hangover losses where we lose. And then it carries over to the next game, and we lack energy, So, and I expect our team to come out and play with, even though it's an early start, it's one of the, we haven't had a lot of early starts this year, but it's a game on the road with an early start. And I will tell you, our shoot-around time is at 8 a.m. At Missouri. We cannot shoot in their building tomorrow night, which normally we do because there's a concert there. Yesterday, I was texting with the guys and, said we might let them sleep in on Saturday, and we're not going to be able to shoot Friday night, which we normally do. Probably won't have a shoot around because I don't want to get them up at 7:30 for an 8 o'clock shoot around. And got a phone call, and some of the guys said, hey, let's discuss having a shoot around, or let's figure out what we can do if we can't get in the gym. That's the type of guys, like 99.9% of the teams, if you told them that you had an 8 o'clock shoot around slot and you're going to let them sleep in, they would probably say, okay, great. They wouldn't, but I actually got a phone call yesterday, and it was from Mason, and said, hey, Coach, can we talk about, that?
What does that say to you?
It says all the things that we've talked about, Bob, you know what I mean? Like way back in the summer, that they're buying in, that they have a high will to win. And I think they're showing maturity. I mean, I think when you get a phone call like that, you think it's a mature group, and it's a good phone call.
With Jimmy, he's such a mature, even-keeled, steady, whatever adjective you want to use, guy. I mean, I would think he would bounce back from a tough game better than most. And he was 0 for 6 in the first half, only took one shot in the second half. Do you think he just felt like, hey, I'm going to rebound and play defense? I'm not hitting my shots, let other guys shoot? Or what'd you make of that?
I thought his back stiffened up in the second half. I mean, noticeably in the second half, defensively and offensively, I thought he didn't have the same mobility, that maybe he did early in the game.
Just because of Mizzou's record, do you use like the Vanderbilt beating LSU or how they beat Florida at Columbia?
Missouri, when they've had their pieces, they beat Illinois. Illinois is a ranked team right now. I think Florida is one of the most talented teams in our league. I think Florida is one of the toughest matchups in our league. A lot of those guys, we played against them last year in the NCAA tournament. They're good. Missouri put it to them. And they have a all-league type center who's got great size, who has missed the last 8 games, Nate, and I think that affects them. And so, and Smith being out the last couple, Smith's a really good shooter. And so, just as we're not the same team without Isaiah, they're not the same team without Tillman, and so I don't look at their record at all, because 1, they're good at home, and 2, they've beaten some great basketball teams.
Obviously, you want to get the win on Tuesday night, but the atmosphere did deliver some pretty cool moments, especially maybe in the overtime period when Mason Jones kind of fell into the stands and he was limping a little bit, and then the crowd cheered him to life. Have you ever seen anything like that? And then maybe just about the basketball IQ of Bud Walton.
Yeah, I mean, the crowds have been awesome. My family and I talk about them all the time, whether it's my son Michael or Danielle or, it's an incredible environment. Great basketball IQ. I keep trying to let the players know, and I've said it 100 times, like, this type of atmosphere is so unique. Like, you have to appreciate it. Certainly I appreciate it, and I'm coming from a place that we sold out a lot of games in the last 3 years, but it wasn't as loud as what we're experiencing. Obviously, when you have, 9,000 more people in a building, that's, it's almost double the size of what I've been used to. But, we travel around to other SEC places, and they're not like this. I mean, it's and that's why it's so important that we play so hard every night. Like, we don't want to lose any of the momentum that we have with our fans respecting our effort. Nobody wants to lose. There's no excuses. We lost to Auburn because they played better than us. It doesn't matter who didn't play for us. There's never an excuse in our locker room. We want to learn from every loss, like, why did we lose? Where's our holes? What's the other team's scouting report on us? Like, that's how you get better. Sometimes you don't get the results you want, but you got to continuously try to improve.
I guess Tillman played 12 minutes at A&M. Wasn't, I think he had 2 points and 4 boards, and it was 4 points and 2 boards. But now he's going to have a couple extra days to practice. So how much better do you expect him to be? And like you said, it's really in the Mizzou team that's 1-6 in their last 7 games. This might not be the team you're seeing if Tillman, especially Smith, are back.
Yeah, I mean, I think that any time a player gets to practice, because it's my understanding that he didn't hardly practice at all, if at all, prior to the Texas A&M game, and now he's got a game under his belt, and you get a couple practices, and you get extra reps. You're back at home. I think all those things are look, this is. I mean, Missouri's looking at this game, and they're circling it, saying this is a game that we got to go win. And for us, it's a game that we got to go try to figure out a way to win. So I think you're going to see great effort from both teams. Thanks.